Welcome to the Staatsburgh State Historic Site, the Gilded Age home of Ruth Livingston and Ogden Mills. My name is Frank Padala, and I am a Park and Rec aide working for the New York State Office of Parks, Recreation, and Historic Preservation. I conduct tours here and special programs at the museum. We are located in Staatsburgh, New York, just north of the Vanderbilt Mansion and FDR Presidential Library and Museum in Hyde Park, New York. Today I'm going to share some interesting collections with you that relate to the Mills family and the history of the Titanic. I'm sure many of you are familiar with the story of the Titanic when it sank on April 15, 1912. It carried more than 1,500 passengers to their deaths. This included many of the most prominent and wealthy individuals in America. Individuals like mining magnate Benjamin Guggenheim, Ida and Isidore Straus, founders of Macy's department store, and Ruth Livingston's not-so-distant cousin and neighbor who lived just north of us in Rhinebeck, New York, John Jacob Astor IV, who you may know as the wealthiest man who died on the Titanic. So now that we have some historical context, let's take a look at some of that Titanic memorabilia. Almost all the objects I'll be showing you are exact replicas of what you would see on the Titanic. So to start, I've removed my tailcoat, which is typical of what a butler, a footman, or even a male guest would wear for an evening attire. This would be accompanied by the white bow tie, of course. Instead, I've donned this officer's jacket. This jacket is an exact replica that was made by a good friend of the staff and Titanic historian Eric Fisk. Eric has gone through great detail to make this as accurate as possible. So next up we have the life vests. This is typical of what an adult would wear on the Titanic. Next to me is a child life vest. Both weigh in at about 10 pounds, which is quite heavy. Visitors who often come and put these on before our tours are surprised at how much they weigh. Eric was even able to source cork from the same country, Portugal, that the White Star Line was able to source for its life vests. There were about 3,500 life vests on board Titanic, enough for the 2,200 passengers on board. But it wasn't drowning that caused most to perish. Rather, it was the cold Atlantic Ocean water, which just below 32 degrees Fahrenheit, freezing, would cause hypothermia to set in within minutes. Last but not least, we have the Morse code machine, otherwise known as the telegraph. Morse code was used by Titanic's wireless operators Jack Phillips and Harold Bride. It provided a means to send and receive coded messages between Titanic's passengers and crew and those back home on land or to other ships. Each Morse code symbol or letter is formed by a sequence of dots and dashes. The dot duration is the basic unit of time measurement in Morse code transmission. Each letter in the alphabet is represented by a series of dots and dashes. The dots and dashes are sent in short bursts with precision timing to distinguish each letter sent. I'm going to send 3 letters, and with a little help, let's see if you can guess what the message is. So let's start with the first letter. The second letter. And the third letter. So to repeat that, first letter is dot, dot, dot. Second letter is dash, dash, dash. And the third letter is dot, dot, dot. So did you figure out what the message is? Well, if not, I'll give you a hint. History claims that Titanic was one of the first maritime ships to send this message. That's right, it's the call SOS. Contrary to popular belief, SOS does not stand for Save Our Ship or save our souls. Simply, it means urgent distress call. Titanic would send out multiple CQD calls the night it sank, but then it would go on to send out its first SOS call in history. That's the history lesson for today. We hope you enjoyed the video, and we look forward to seeing you again soon.